The New York Islanders offense has been MIA as they were shut out for the third time in just 6 games. In a 1-0 loss to Detroit, we'll break down the game and talk about what can be done to help fix this team. All that and more on today's Locked On Islanders podcast.
Your Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome, everybody, to the Wednesday edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I want to thank everyone who makes Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts so you get new episodes as soon as they drop. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. We have got a busy show ahead, lots to discuss after last night's frustrating 1-0 loss to the Detroit Red Wings. But first, if there's something Islanders related on your mind, if you have a comment, a question, maybe a topic you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, send us an email. LockedOnIslanders@gmail.com is the address. And if you leave your first name and where you're from, we're happy to mention you on the show when we discuss whatever's on your mind. You can also follow the show on X at Locked On Isles, and you can follow me, Gil Martin, on X at Ice Wars, NYR-VSNYI. We'll keep you up to date on all things Islanders all year long, and I am live tweeting during nearly every Islanders home and road game. So join me for some instant insight and analysis, and it's great to talk Islanders hockey with you, game time or anytime. Final score, Islanders 1, Red Wings nothing, and everydayers, you know this is a familiar refrain for Islander fans. Let's see if this sounds familiar to you. The Islanders outplayed the opposition. They outshot the Red Wings 29-11. That's almost 3-1. But the Islanders could not finish. Power play came up empty. The Islanders had a lot of zone time, moved the puck around the zone pretty well, could not set up very many high danger chances and end up losing the game. I mean, yes, Anthony Duclair out of the lineup. I get it. But when it counted most, this team just didn't get it done. And, you know, here's the frustrating thing. Third period, you are down 1-0, and you only get 7 shots on goal in the third period. 7 shots. You had a power play. Do you know how many shots on goal the Islanders got on that third period power play? That would be 0. And not only was it 0 shots on goal, but they barely were able to get the puck into the offensive zone, and they couldn't keep it there. For the entire game, the Islanders had 22 shots on goal at even strength. That's it. 22 shots on goal at even strength. That's not good enough. When you've got 54 minutes, you've got to have more than 22 shots on goal. And I'll take it a step further. I'm flexible. Maybe you could get by with 22 shots on goal in, 54 minutes of even strength time, or maybe 52 because the Red Wings had a power play or two. But they've got to be a couple of breakaways in there, a couple of rebounds, some chances, one-timers from the high slot, high danger chances. They've got to be there, and this team, they just didn't do that. Think back of the 29 shots that the Islanders had on Alex Lyon. And I'm not taking anything away from Alex Lyon. He is a decent NHL goalie who, when he gets hot, he can carry a team for a little while. And you know, he got the Panthers into the playoffs a couple of years ago. He's capable. But the Islanders made him look like the next Dominik Hasek or the next Ken Dryden. And he's not. He's just not. He's a pretty good goalie, but they didn't really test him enough. And, you know, you look at the numbers here. The following players on the Islanders did not have a shot on goal. Okay? Kyle McLean, Oliver Wahlstrom, Liam Foudy. That would be all three of your fourth line guys. Casey Cizikas had one shot that came in the third period, in the last half of it. Maxim Siplikov, one shot. Simon Holmstrom, this is his big chance. First game on the top line with Bo and Barzy. One shot on goal. That also came in, you know, the latter part of the game. And Alexander Romanov and Ryan Polak and Scott Mayfield, they also didn't have shots on goal, but okay. Defensemen, it's not as big a deal. But, you know, this team has now been blanked, shut out 3 times in 6 games. 3 times in 6 games, you've been shut out. And amazingly enough, the Islanders are still 2-2-2 through 6 games when they've been shut out in 3 of them. Ilya Sorokin, he played fine. 10 saves and 11 shots. Can't say the goal was a softie. He has to be, in my mind, the hero of this game. Go to the game. The lack of productivity offensively from this team. This was a team effort. They have to be better. You have to create scoring chances. Look, this Islanders team does not have a sniper on their roster. Everydayers, you've heard me talk about this all offseason. Last year, I think the offseason a year ago, but this team doesn't have a sniper. And you can get by without a sniper, but boy, oh boy, you've got to play that fundamental game, and the Islanders didn't do it. They didn't go to the net enough. They didn't screen the goalie enough. They didn't get a lot of shots from the dirty areas, those greasy goals where you're digging for the puck in the crease, where you're getting quality rebound opportunities. I can count on the fingers of one hand how many rebound opportunities the Islanders had in this game. And you know what? You can win in the NHL with a good goalie and quality defense and average offense. But you've got to play a certain way, and this team just isn't doing it. This team isn't talented enough. Raw offensive talent. There is no Connor McDavid on this roster. There is no Leon Draisaitl. There is no Austin Matthews. There is no Sidney Crosby or Alexander Ovechkin in their prime. You've got some guys who can score 30 goals. Bo Horvat, he's done it. Kyle Palmieri, he's done it. Brock Nelson, he's done it. But, you know, you got to get the dirty goals because you're not getting the pretty ones. And, you know, taking a good shot that can create rebound opportunities is better than trying to pass and get the perfect shot that isn't going to necessarily connect. So, disappointment in this game. Liam Foudy, 7 minutes, 52 seconds, no shots on goal. Not a major impact on this game. No shots on goal for Wally, who got another chance due to the injury to Anthony Duclair. No such luck. No such luck. You got to get more offense into this game, and you've got to finish when you get opportunities. And the lack of finish is just driving fans nuts. And, you know, this arena, you heard in the third period the boos coming. You heard the fans voicing their discontent, and understandably so, when this team in the third period did not register a shot on goal on a power play where you're down 1-0 with what, 5.5, 6 minutes left in regulation. It is put up or shut up time, and this team did not put up. This is a game that they could have won. They outplayed the Detroit Red Wings, but when you can't finish, you're not going to win a lot of games. And, you know, coming into this game, the Islanders were 29th in the league in shooting percentage with a 7.7% conversion rate. So for every 1,000 shots that the Islanders take, 77 would go in. That number just got lower because the Islanders failed to score. All right, we've talked about what's wrong. Now maybe we talk about some ways to fix it. We'll talk a little bit more about this game as well. We also have our weekly farm report on all things Bridgeport Islanders and a Cole Eiserman update. Plus, for our Islanders birthday of the day, a former first-round pick of the Islanders who played with the team throughout most of the 90s. He's a defenseman. Let's see if you can guess who that is. We've got that and a lot more still to come on today's Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time has a new feature. It's called Game Time Picks, and that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. My favorite feature on the Game Time app is the view from your seat. You go on the app and you can see a panoramic view from your seat before you purchase the tickets, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. Today's episode is also brought to you by Prize Picks. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks, I'll tell you, it's the best place to get real money sports action. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. And look, Prize Picks puts its members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. And when my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Talk about different players, and all you got to do is pick whether or not they go over or under the prize pick number. So will Justin Jefferson get more than 83.5 receiving yards? Patrick Mahomes, more or less than 267.5 passing yards? You make these picks, and if you get them right, you can win big money. So download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that is code LOCKEDONNHL after you download the app, and you'll get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. So check out Prize Picks today. This game, I tell you, This game, frustrating, very frustrating. And the Islanders need to figure it out, and they need to figure it out soon. We saw Patrick Waugh do a little juggling with the line combinations over the course of the game. They did move Simon Holmstrom up to the top line. I don't think he particularly added much to it. Again, he had the one shot on goal, so it was Horvat, Holmstrom, and Barzal. Nelson, Siplikov, and Palmieri were the second line. They stayed together. Pajot, Lee, and then Casey Cizikas. Now on the third line, McLean, Foudy, Wahlstrom. On the fourth line, the power play had 7 shots on goal on the first 2 chances, but couldn't finish. And then the penalty kill, well, they didn't give up a power play goal, but boy, didn't do what they needed to do. Now, update. For those of you who did not see it, Lou Lamoriello had a little interview during the pregame show with Shannon Hogan, and he said they still do not know as of Tuesday evening what the exact diagnosis is. They're still waiting on results for Anthony Duclair, so we still don't know how long he's going to be out. Not putting him on LTIR just yet, waiting for that diagnosis, waiting to see what we're really talking about here as far as how long he is going to be out of the lineup. And to me, the big thing for the Islanders is going to be finding a different combination. Would it shock me to see another player get a shot at the top line, whether it's Anders Lee, Liam Foudy, Casey Cizikas? Do you move Siplikov up there and break up Nelson, Siplikov, and Palmieri? They've been your most consistent line all year long. So I would tend to say you don't, but I think that possibility has to be on the table. But more importantly, what has to be on the table is a change in approach. This team has to keep it simple offensively. They've got to go to the net. They've got to shoot the puck. Shoot, shoot, shoot. You know, Wayne Gretzky said you don't score on 100% of the shots you don't take. That is true. But the other thing, and you've heard Butch Goring say this how many times in the course of his tenure as the color man on Islanders television broadcasts, you put the puck on the net and good things happen. This team needs to change its mentality and keep putting the puck on the net so good things can happen, because they're just not doing it enough. When you have snipers and elite players offensively on your team, you can try to make those pretty plays because you have the guys who could pull it off with regularity. The Islanders don't have those kind of guys. Yeah, Barzy can skate, and Bo Horvat can one time, and he can score, and Brock Nelson can score, but these guys are not those elite fancy play kind of guys. They can do it occasionally, but they can't do it regularly. And this team needs to figure out how to make up for the fact that they don't have elite scoring talent. If they don't fix that, even if Anthony Duclair came back tomorrow and was 100% healthy, which is not happening, by the way, you still have a problem, because this team with Anthony Duclair was still shut out twice in 5 games. 3 shutouts in 6 games is not getting it done. It's a problem. It's not even just a slump. No, they're not going to be shut out 41 times this year. I know that. But they're just not playing the kind of hockey they need to play in order to score goals with this lineup. And Patrick Waugh has to change that, and change it ASAP. The Islanders don't play again until Friday. It's time to practice, and figure out what you need to do to change the mentality of this team. One other little note, and it was a little strange to me. What number did Liam Foudy get? They gave him number 12. That is the first player to wear number 12 since Josh Bailey. Look, nobody thought Bales would have his number retired. He wasn't that kind of a player, but it certainly was a little strange to see someone else wearing Josh Bailey's number 12. First time in about 12, 14 years that someone else wore that number. So that is the story. We have a lot more to get to on today's show. We still have our weekly farm report on all things Bridgeport Islanders and a Cole Eiserman update. So stick around for that. We've got that and a lot more still to come on today's Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Hey, NFL fans, you could start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more, all on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet, and there's so much to bet on. Go to FanDuel, check out the latest odds on the World Series. You've got college football, pro football. Islander fans, check out the odds for the Islanders game Friday against the New Jersey Devils. That'll be an exciting game on the road. Check out all the odds for that and a whole lot more. Again, you can get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com, FanDuel.com, FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Thank you for making Locked On Islanders your first listen today. For your second listen, find Locked On Fantasy Hockey. Become a fantasy hockey expert and get the edge over your league mates with daily tips from Steal and Flip. Find Locked On Fantasy Hockey on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, Bridgeport, time for our weekly farm report. We do this every Wednesday during the season. 3 games last week for Bridgeport. And, well, they finally did win one of them, but it took a little while. Last Wednesday, a week ago, the Hershey Bears beat Bridgeport by a score of 3-2. Alex Jeffries getting a power play goal in this one. He had 2 points, so did Chris Terry, but it wasn't enough as the Islanders lost their 3rd straight at home. 2 goals in 1 minute and 5 seconds in the 3rd period, basically dooming the Bridgeport Islanders in this game. They did outshoot Hershey 31-25. Marcus Hogberg, 22 saves in the loss. So that was the Wednesday game. Then on Saturday, the Islanders faced the Hartford Wolfpack, so the Rangers Farm Club. That game in Hartford, it went to overtime, but the Islanders fell to the Wolfpack by a score of 5-4. Liam Foudy and Matt Maggio both had 3 points. Frederick Karlstrom had 2 goals, but it was not enough at the end of the day. Wyatt Newpower and Alex Jeffries also scored. Hogberg made 37 saves, but in the end, Hartford gets the win by a 5-4 margin. And then finally, on Sunday, the rematch in Bridgeport against Hartford. Jakub Skarek, 24 saves to earn the shutout as the Islanders blanked Hartford by a score of 4-0. First shutout since March 30th of 2023. Brian Pino, Alex Jeffries, Mark Gatcombe, and William Dufour had the goals. Pino's was shorthanded, and the Islanders finally get their first win in Game 5. Right now, through 5 games. Alex Jeffries leads the team with 3 goals and 5 points. Now, he missed a game, so that's 5 points in 4 games for Jeffries. Chris Terry, a goal and 3 assists. Foodie with 4 assists. He's now up with the Islanders. Brian Pino, 2 goals and an assist. Matthew Maggio, 3 helpers. William Dufour, 1 goal. Pierre Engvall, 1 goal. Samuel Bolduc, 1 assist so far for Bridgeport during the course of this season. Jakub Skarek has a 1.01 goals against average in his 2 games, but he's only 1-1, a .967 save percentage. Marcus Hogberg, 369 goals against, 874 save percentage. He is 0-2-1. In the standings, Bridgeport right now is currently, falling behind. They are not in last place, however. They're in 7th place. Lehigh Valley is behind them, although Bridgeport has played 2 more games than Lehigh Valley so far. As far as the schedule is concerned, you got 2 games coming up this weekend, both on the road, both in Charlotte Friday night. 7 o'clock Eastern time start, Islanders at Charlotte, the Charlotte Checkers. And then Saturday, 6 o'clock Eastern time, same 2 teams, same location. So that is the action this weekend, and you could catch all of those games on AHL TV. So, that is sort of the story there. And, the Islanders really need to pick things up. There is no way around that. This team just needs to play better. And unless they find a way to score, it's true for both Bridgeport and for the NHL Islanders. They absolutely have to be better. So we have an update now on the status of one Cole Eiserman, and it's great to see Eiserman getting off to a pretty good start right now. In his first 3 games with his team up in Boston, I am pleased to announce that he has scored 4 goals. So Cole Eiserman at BU named the Hockey East Rookie of the Week after he scored 2 goals in a 4-2 win over UConn. 4 goals through 3 games. That leads BU right now and is tied for the second highest goal total in the entire NCAA. So great to see Eiserman off to a good start, getting some honors, leading the team in scoring. That's what you want. And again, yeah, he's a few years away, but he's looking pretty darn good right now. All right, time for our Islanders birthday of the day. And, let's just say that yesterday was the 52nd birthday of former Islanders defenseman Scott LaChance. First round pick, 4th overall by the Islanders in 1991. Spent 1 year at BU and then joined the Islanders in the 91-92 season. Stayed on the island through 98-99 when late in that year he was dealt to Montreal. Played for Vancouver and Columbus before finishing his career in Switzerland and in the AHL. LaChance, more of a defensive-minded defenseman, played 819 career NHL games, 31 goals, 143 points, 567 penalty minutes. Played in 11 career NHL playoff games, 3 of those with the Islanders. He had a goal and 3 points, but none of those coming with the Islanders. One of his better games with the team, January 12th, 1993, Islanders hosting the Calgary Flames at the Nassau Coliseum. And in this game, Scott LaChance, our Islanders' birthday of the day, scores twice in the first half of the second period. The first goal assisted by Mick Vukota and Richard Crom. The second one by Crom and Tom Fitzgerald. That made the score 4-1 Islanders, and that was, as they say, enough. One of those goals turned out to be the game winner. LeChance finished a +2. He had 4 penalty minutes and scored on both of his shots. Mark Fitzpatrick, 27 saves for the Islanders to get the win. Islanders down the Flames by a score of 8-2. Scott LeChance is our Islanders' birthday of the day. I want to thank everyone who makes Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Everydayers, tomorrow on the show, we will have the latest Islanders news, notes, and happenings. We're still waiting on that update on Anthony Duclair and how long he may be out. And we'll have all of that and any updates from practice as well. Have a great day, everybody. Stay safe. And, of course, let's go Islanders.